Innovate.
Festival of Architecture and Interior Designing, or FOID 2016, is back with a bang. The event is a celebration of architecture and design. It's also a platform for creative minds to interact and exchange ideas.
I've been attending this festival for many years, and I think it's improving from day to day. The kind of participation that I see in terms of materials as well as the architects is really wonderful, and I think it's important to celebrate such festivities in terms of bringing in new ideas, new thoughts.
I think design is a celebration in itself, and coming together at a festival always allows people to kind of get together, learn from one another, share ideas, get a better point of view from peers in the industry, come and observe and see the latest trends that are available for them to utilize in their day-to-day lives.
I think because all these intellectuals from the architecture and interior fraternity are together, you are addressing a lot more concerns in this platform. So I think that's interesting.
Any place where designers congregate to exchange ideas, not only designers but the very construction industry itself, is certainly laudable.
It's nice because you get to hear so many different viewpoints, you get to meet so many different people. So any platform which encourages us to meet and to exchange ideas is always brilliant.
I think it will really not only help the industry, I'm looking at it that it should help the city, that coming together of people, discussing ideas of how to do things, what has to be done, will ultimately help in improving the quality of the life for everybody in the city.
Every architect has at least 60% of their dreams on paper only. So it's a chance to see those.
FOID 2016, held in Mumbai, turned the spotlight on the future of design space. Industry experts got together to discuss and deliberate a wide range of issues.
Can anybody design? Can anybody design? Anyone. I'll start with Ayaz.
There is obviously a big truth in anybody can design. I feel with the right training and mentorship, I think that's a better model to explore, where professionals are able to actually impart knowledge much freer, in a much more transparent, much more democratic way, and you can enable this very fast, and then you can actually create change which is not top down. It's a bottom up change.
So what we try to do is make the end user like a design partner with us.
Right.
Because I don't want a structure where you walk into a structure and say it's designed by KNS, because I think that's a failure as an architect. It has to be your house or my office or his hotel or his city.
Right.
So what we try to do is anybody can design. We actually encourage the end user to be a part of this design scheme and the design theme. So we start from scratch, taking him along with us through the journey, and then come up with the eventual design.
In design has got a lot to do with playfulness. So
Yes.
I think the beginning of design is where you don't have any peer pressure or you're not holding back your ideas. So any initial stage where we work, it's about diverging your ideas to different platforms and then just discussing before you actually get on the table for real design. So according to me, kids are great designers because they don't fear anybody.
I was traveling through Bhutan recently. I just stopped because there were half a dozen women, 3 or 4 men, actually building a rammed earth house.
Right. Of course.
And where is the specialist? Where is the designer?
So precisely my point, exactly my point.
Anybody can design.
Particularly in a country like India, design is inherent in everything, and particularly more so in rural India. But we come into a different area of discussion over there, because I have always believed that rural India has integrally got good design, because it's part of their racial memories. I mean, it's middle class India really that we have to educate, so to speak.
Industry practitioners also showcased their innovative works.
We took just the Jali screen, and this is what we've used in the building. So the jali wraps around the entire building and it creates an envelope around the building. It reduces the heat gain by 30% and thereby makes the building energy efficient.
2005 onwards, I see a lot of home appliances getting intelligent, smarter, and we see home automation formally coming to India. So today, on an average, a human being spends 6 hours, 8 hours across the globe on their smart devices. You'll be astonished to know that 2.1 billion smartphone or smart device users are there presently in 2016. And this number is going to touch 3 billion by the end of 2019. So human interaction with humans are coming down, and with smart devices are increasingly becoming more prominent.
Foyt 2016 was also a platform for vendors and buyers to meet. The on-ground exhibition displayed products from the architecture and design industry.
Foyt has been a great platform basically for all the building material companies, wherein you meet all the architects, designers, and as well as we are able to showcase our new introduction to them.
For the first time, we are presenting at Foyt a signature kitchen. So that is a height adjustable kitchen. It has many different gadgets. It has an integrated Bluetooth sound system. The kitchen basically acts as a music player by Bluetooth. So many new things which we are presenting here for the first time.
This is our first time participation at Foyt. I'm liking the way this entire show is presented. There is ample amount of places for discussion, collaboration, quiet zones, active zones, busy zones. So that was nice.
We have recently introduced some around 15 new shades in marble and around 15 in quartz range, which we have displayed here at the stall. And the kind of responses that we are getting since morning is awesome.
We've had some interesting customers walk in, find out about our products. So we've had a good interaction with them. And I've also been managed to attend some of the conversations that were happening in the conference venue. So that has also been pretty interesting and eye-opener for us as a company.
A lot of good architects and interior designers. Not only we were able to showcase, we were able to understand what exactly they are looking for. And it was immense pleasure when you get a good feedback about your product and also a direction for the future products.
We put up a stall having the innovative products and services. For example, express painting in terms of services that is a faster, cleaner and better. And certain other products which are very important like energy conservation products, what you call ETICS, that is the external thermal insulation systems.
On display at the Architects Pavilion was information about key practitioners who were part of Foyt 2016. Welcome back. You're watching Foyt 2016. The Festival of Architecture and Interior Designing aims to set new benchmarks for the architecture and design fraternity. The two-day event showcased over 200 projects. It was also host to over 100 eminent speakers.
You get inspiration from any form. You look at anything around you, maybe nature, all the previous architects as well, like Frank Lloyd Wright, he was known for his Falling Water, Lee Corbusier for Chandigarh, Mies van der Rohe for reformist architecture, and they all got their inspiration out of something. Buckminster Fuller, Charles Correa, again he wanted to bring the nature inside the houses and his projects.
Animated discussions were the order of the day.
We create architecture which has much more longevity than our own life. So the shelf life of our creativity is what creates ourselves, and that is what we are recognized for. So whether as an individual or as a company, whether we can claim ourselves as a brand or not a brand, I think so that is something what we need to all debate and understand about.
If one has enough foresight, okay, and if he creates an environment that enables what he has thought of to outlive him or her, is something which I would call as a brand.
Actually, I'm completely confused with this brand business. I really fail to understand how an architect can become a brand. I believe architecture is like mother of all the arts, and other performing arts also come under the umbrella of architecture.
Brand is also something that you think about and associate with. It's nothing to do with saying that if it's a brand name, it is so-and-so stamp, and that stamp over there means XYZ. Brand is also an experience, as Mr. Kiran was saying. So we all as designers are experienced, firstly, because our clients experience us. They want to come and work with us because we deliver them a particular style of architecture, design. We give them a particular experience at the end of the day.
Industry figures shared their thoughts on the state of design.
People in India, the masses, and the governance should both recognize design as a very, very important factor in our development. Because I don't think improvement and development can happen without design thinking.
We are in a very, very creative phase in our country. I think it's waiting to actually burst into the next league, where we have spent enough time in getting the exposure to the rest of the world, to the global issues. And I think the education, institutionalization of design has come to a point where it can actually take off from here to evolve into something much more global, much more universal.
I feel that we need to shift our emphasis from celebrity to sanctity. And we need to shift it from outer wrappings, just outer compositions and wrappings, to some inner content.
What's happening now across the world and even here, we're trying to go back to our roots now. With all the computers, with all the digital technology available to us, we are exploring skill-based craftsmen based out of somewhere in India, the skills that are getting lost. In fact, we are doing 3 projects where we're using the skilled craftsmen from various parts of India and trying to revive that and incorporate that with technology.
Architecture is going through a crisis in a number of ways in terms of addressing a lot of the environmental concerns that the world is facing, a lot of social concerns. And at the same time, industry is focusing on materials, technologies, marketing them, but not really addressing some of the core problems that the world is facing today.
Future of design appears to be more technologically advanced, but at the same time benefiting the common man where it is needed most.
Sustainable architecture, environment conscious architecture. I think that is the future and that is a need of time. So I think rather than just running behind a technology, and we should seek more towards the environmental conscious architecture.
I think that at some point of time the product design and architecture would kind of merge to produce a more usable architecture, I would say.
What we used to witness 15 years back in China, that is what is exactly happening today. So if we don't want to go overboard like China, like they are having now those ghost cities, we don't want to go overboard. If we could control the development at the right stage, then probably in next 10 years we'll see huge development coming up.
Design will be, I think, will have to emerge with a much stronger social and a cultural consciousness, in a sense to kind of ensure that it serves the wider public.
FOI 2016 had something for everyone. Berger Architecture Ideas 2.0 was a forum of India's upcoming architects and interior designers below 35 years to showcase their innovative ideas.
Today in India, we have a population of around 1.2 billion. Now, amongst this, there are enormous talents all across. So we, as a Berger Paints, being a paint building material industry associated with, so architects are the benchmark for us. So therefore, we thought to take out these talents and showcase and felicitate them.
watching FOID 2016. Held in Mumbai, the two-day event was a platform for industry practitioners to exchange ideas. Topics discussed included urban planning.
Bylaws have to respond to the times. There are bylaws which have been there from the independence days, which doesn't make sense now. The cities have to go in for redensification. There should be a 15-year horizon, like how you have in Singapore, but there is a 5-year targets. If you go to Shanghai, you go to Singapore, you go to New York, anywhere else, there is an urban redevelopment authority, like in Singapore, where there's a vision for the city which they have defined for 21st century. Then there is intermediate targets where they have now defined for every zone, and that vision is spread to the citizens. So everybody takes pride in that vision, and then you take it forward.
Women in India are now pioneering this entire movement of conservation in India, where we are not trying to look at heritage as something which is to be kept as it is in the past, but we are accepting to the fact that change and development has to happen. And we are looking at ways and methods by which we can bring heritage into the future.
How tangible it is, or it depends on individual designers, this human behavior factor while designing, Ninad.
As a start point, it is definitely intangible, but the magic of the whole process is to make that intangible into tangible, and that is where process plays a very important role. Sometimes we have to deal with not only virtual end users, but also virtual clients. And so the aspect of making that intangible tangible is extremely important as a start point to the brief.
An interesting element of FOID 2016 was Debate Cross Kalan, where industry practitioners debated burning topics. Smart or not, cover the subject of the Smart Cities mission. Detox was a fun-filled event where speakers got a fixed amount of time to express their views on interesting topics. Students of architecture and interior design showcased their handmade objects, installations and functional sculptures as part of the annual design competition Expressions. Curators and jury, consisting of industry experts, were on hand to select the most creative future designers. As the curtain draws on yet another power-packed edition of FOID, industry experts were unanimous on the value of such a gathering.
Whatever the future might be, it's in places like this where we meet and interact that you get glimpses of what it might be in the views that people have, in the work that they do.
On this kind of a platform, you come across with your other professional brothers, and you see what they are doing, and you learn from a lot of things what they're doing.
I like the format, the way it was arranged. You've got lectures by architects who are presenting their works. You've got that is interspersed with some product information from suppliers, and then you have panel discussions.
The format is extremely nice because you get to sit down with your peers, discuss some interesting stuff, do a little bit of social meeting, also get to know about products which we actually, as architects, practicing architects, we don't really give much time to.
I must commend whoever selected the subjects. They weren't easy to speak about because they were unusual subjects, not what people have been speaking about. So people came with new things, put new thoughts on the table.
The quality of debates, discussions, talks have really, they really have value, and I think that's fairly stimulating.
The kind of energy which is created due to this meeting up in this festival is fantastic.
I like the format of of having sort of healthy discussions amongst architects and designers, because I think topics get a little more sort of in depth because of that.
My take, if I were to boil down all that I saw and I witnessed, I think it is more than design, it is the celebration of the human spirit, and then exploring each and every facet of that.
This year I'm very happy to see there is a lot of student involvement which is happening, and this is something which is the future of our fraternity, architecture, and I think so this approach of this particular event will lead us to a different dimension altogether in future.